Okay, last question from my first batch of questions of the new year. Can my doctor drop my insurance? I was told that my doctor's clinic will no longer take my insurance next year. This question comes up every now and then. There was the circumstance that this particular question came up like a prior question with the pharmacy. It had to do with one insurance company getting into a network battle with another and some misinformation getting communicated to some people in the public. We had to deal with this question fair amount. It came up a few years ago right before the Affordable Care Act kicked in. It comes and goes, and I'm hopeful I'll probably do a more thorough video on this. The short answer is that a doctor can drop insurance whenever they want. Now, not all insurance is in danger of being dropped, so I'm gonna segment this out. But a doctor can drop a network if they want to. So if your plan is covered by a company and it's a network only plan, and in the Medicare side of things, which is my business, the Medicare side of things, the only time you'd have to worry about that is if you had a Medicare Advantage plan. Medicare Supplement doesn't need to worry about it, but if you have a Medicare Advantage plan and the doctor wants to say they're no longer going to be a part of the network that your Medicare Advantage plan is under, yes, you can be dropped from that plan. That being said, there's some variances there. The first thing is they could drop a plan, or they could drop a network, but not that entire company. So if you have a particularly large company that has a number of networks involved in it, they could drop network 1, 2, 3, but not network 4, 5, 6. And if you're in network 4, 5, 6, you could be unaffected, even though people in network 1, 2, 3 could be affected. If you have a Medicare supplement, this is where things get a little bit easier. And strangely enough, it was the Medicare supplement people I was spending a great deal of time with this past annual enrollment period talking with. Your plan, if you have a traditional Medicare supplement, is accepted by any doctor, any hospital, anywhere in the United States that takes Medicare, and you are getting a Medicare-approved service done. What that means is that if your plan is by a very large company and also happens to have a Medicare Advantage plan, and that Medicare Advantage plan, the doctor's office is just dropping that Advantage plan wholesale, every single network under that particular company's umbrella, they will still take the Medicare supplement if they still take Medicare. They cannot say they will not take your Medicare supplement as long as they take Medicare. I will say that again a different way. If Company A has 3 different Medicare Advantage plans, an HMO, a PPO, and something called a private fee-for-service, and even an employer plan, and they completely drop the network of the HMO, they completely drop the network of the private fee-for-service, they completely drop the network of the employer plan, your PPO plan, if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, will still be able to be used, but you're going to be out of network and you pay the out-of-network costs. And if you have a Medicare supplement, the supplement will just work without any changes or issues. It just works. Because the doctor still takes Medicare. You run into problems if your doctor tells you that they no longer take Medicare. Now, how big of a problem is that? Well, if your doctor says that they are not going to take Medicare anymore, you can't use that doctor for any insurance plan that works with Medicare. That means if you have an employer plan that is employer sponsored with Medicare, you can't use it. It means if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, you can't use it, even if it's a Medicare Advantage PPO plan and the doctor is out of network. It will not work with an out of network benefit because that doctor still needs to take Medicare. And of course, if you have a Medicare supplement and the doctor doesn't take Medicare, the doctor will not take that supplement. That means that if a great majority of doctors see patients who are age 65 and over, and a great majority of patients are age 65 and over, is your doctor going to stop taking Medicare? There are a few that will and have dropped Medicare. You cannot see that doctor if you have any kind of Medicare-related insurance. You are beyond my help, basically, if you want to use that doctor. If you want to use that doctor and you are of Medicare age, and you are in the Medicare program, there is nothing I can do for you. You must contact somebody else. This is one of those few times I'd actually say ask the doctor for an insurance plan recommendation, which I rarely say because that's usually an irresponsible recommendation. But I am a Medicare insurance broker. If I cannot get if you have a doctor that you want to see and this doctor genuinely does not take Medicare, I'm done. I'm out of the picture. There's nothing I can do. So, if your doctor takes Medicare, he will work with a Medicare supplement even if he or she dropped the network of all the Medicare Advantage plans that particular company happens to have. These very large insurance companies that have major medical, Medicare, Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplements, supplementary plans, dental plans, life insurance plans, homeowners plans, these companies that attach their names to just about everything, including kidnap and ransom insurance. Yes, it is a real thing. They are not necessarily the same company, even if they got the same name on it. The contracts are not necessarily the same ones. I can't tell you how many people I have to tell that just because they had a particular experience with this company when they had major medical doesn't mean they are dealing with the exact same company when they are dealing on the Medicare side. In some cases, it's an entirely different company that's actually licensed their name to a different company. And the licensed name is the one that's going to appear on the top in the big print. So these companies, every product that you have is very likely a different company, even if they've got the same name on it. So that's the other thing to be aware of. When a company drops, or when a doctor drops the insurance, they may be dropping the company. They may actually be dropping your network, and in which case you then have to make a decision whether or not you're going to be keeping that insurance or keeping the doctor. Decide which is more important and act accordingly. That's where we come in to help. But if you have a Medicare supplement, as long as they are taking Medicare, they are going to continue to take your plan. As a matter of fact, the question comes up very often, especially the end of the year, should I keep my Medicare supplement with its high $100+ a month premium, or go to this Medicare Advantage plan who typically has either no additional premium besides what Medicare charges, or has a low premium compared to the Medicare supplement? One of the main things we're going to tell a person why should they keep the Medicare supplement is because of this particular eventuality. You are paying a premium so that your doctor will take your insurance with the only question being asked, do they take Medicare, and is this going to be a Medicare expense? That is what your premium goes for. And I recognize, I'm very conscious of the fact that paying an insurance premium sucks. It really does. No one likes doing it. I have to pay insurance premiums. You do. Virtually everybody who's listening to this, you're probably listening to find out, is there a way you can get as low an insurance premium as possible while still getting the coverage you want? And hopefully I'm able to help you a little bit with some of these videos and figure this out. But I do want you to take away from this, and I've said this in multiple videos, it's even one of the explanatory videos on our website, what these premiums for Medicare supplements buy you is this very thing, this ability to go to any doctor or any hospital anywhere in the United States that takes Medicare and use that insurance for your Medicare expenses. And that is why some people don't need to worry whether or not a doctor is dropping at a particular insurance company, and why other people do. If you have a Medicare Advantage plan, you need to worry about that. That is something that we need to look at and find out, are you going to become at risk for either needing a new doctor or needing a new insurance because you want to keep that doctor. And it doesn't even matter if you're in a PPO and you're budgeting in-network expenses and you suddenly your primary expense, your primary doctor, which is the primary cause of most of your expenses there, are going from in-network to out-of-network. You need to decide right there, okay, do I need to change my insurance or do I need to change my doctor as a result? But if you have a non-network Medicare supplement plan, in other words, a traditional Medicare supplement, this is not a concern. Your doctor is not going to drop your insurance if you have a traditional Medicare supplement unless your doctor drops Medicare. And that opens up a whole world of issues. So that was my primary thing I want you to know. That has probably been, with everything that went on in some of these areas this past year during the annual enrollment period, my number one question really and it just totally took me by surprise this year, is my doctor is going to be leaving the network. How is this going to affect me? And just the funniest thing about it was the most of our clients that actually called about this were Medicare supplement policyholders. The reason why is they never had to deal with it. Medicare Advantage people have to deal with it. We had calls from them as well. We had to deal with them. They were not surprised. This was kind of more of a routine issue for a lot of them because they deal with it. It comes from constant contact and talking with our clients every year during the annual enrollment period about networks and the importance of making sure your doctors are part of networks. And when they got their notice that their doctor was leaving, that was just, that just rang the bell. But the Medicare supplement people, who some of them have been our clients for over a decade, they have never had to deal with this before because they don't have a network to deal with. So we have had to give this answer to every one of them for the 50 plus days that this annual enrollment period was going on. But it's not an issue. If you have a Medicare supplement, you've got the coverage. As long as your doctor takes Medicare, they take this. Don't worry about it. And when in doubt, call your trusted broker or call your insurance company and get the scoop on it so that you know exactly so that you can plan exactly what your next step needs to be.